Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I want to talk about a time exposure photo without using an ND filter. ND filters are normally used for long time exposure photos, and you smooth out the water surface. That's looking very smooth, you have no moving inside, and you use the ND filter to get a very long exposure time. So in today's video I want to show you a little trick in Photoshop how you can do a long time exposure, very good looking natural photo without using an ND filter. And I would say let's dive into Lightroom and I will show you what I did. But first I have to tell you what camera settings you need. First you need an interval mode where you can choose the time between the photos. So I set my camera that it shoots every 10 seconds a photo, and in my experience it works very well because we can change the smoothness and we can do some after editing in Photoshop, but I will show you in a couple of minutes. So let's dive into Lightroom. You have Lightroom, and as you can see I did 28 photos, and if I'm clicking through it you see the water is moving a lot, and that we don't want to in a long time exposure. So here are my photos 1 to 28, and what I'm doing is I click the first photo, hit shift on my keyboard and click the last photo. Now what I'm doing is going to the right click, go edit in, and that's very important. We need edit in Photoshop as layers. So click on it, and now Photoshop is opening and create my photos as layers. So they're all in one separate layers for each photo in one document, and that's the starting point where we have to start with. And that will take a lot of minutes to use. So that will take maybe 4 minutes. It depends on how many photos you have and how big the files are. So I think we will see us if Photoshop is ready. So Photoshop had imported all my 28 photos. Here you can see it's the first picture, and if I'm going down we have the last picture, and here are all my photos. What I have to do now is I click the first and I have to select all the photos inside my layers. So I click the first photo, hit going all the way down to the last, hit shift on my keyboard and click on the last picture. Now I've selected all my photos. What I have to do now is I need to go to layer, and then we have to create a smart object. So go to layer, smart objects, and convert it to a smart object. And that will take a couple of minutes. It depends on how big the files are and how many files they are. So I would say we see us if Photoshop is ready. Photoshop is ready and converted all the layers to a smart object. You will find this only layer, and here you can see the symbol. That means that it is a smart object. What we're gonna do now is we have to stack all the photos, and that we click on it, so it's selected. Go to layer again, go to smart objects, and now we have to use the stack mode. So in the stack mode you can choose between the different opportunities. We only need the mean or the median mode. Both are doing the same. They're calculating the photos and doing some statistics on it, and you can choose between the mean and the median. I prefer the median, and it depends on photo, what photo you have. So let's do a little quick comparing. I will show you both possibilities and both stack modes, and I will decide later which mode I'm going with. So let's start with the median, and this will take a couple of minutes because
Photoshop has to calculate the photos and have to stack them together to get only one image what is shown you. And you will see that the water surface is directly and completely smooth and very and you can't see any water moving. And that's what a time exposure is. Very cool. If you have an ND filter, it will be much easier to create this picture. But I think if you can't afford or you don't want to use an ND filter for any reason, then the time exposure simulation in Photoshop is a very good and great option to use. And it's pretty good. You see the difference, yes. You definitely see the difference between an original time exposure with ND filter or if you did this in Photoshop. So the median mode is ready, and here you can see the moving water is gone. You can only see slightly waves here, but if I zoom in, I will do this quick for you. Still this smooth surface in this little waterfall. So that's the median mode. Now let's go and do this the same with the mean mode. And we go back to layer, smart objects, stack mode, and go to mean. And this will take a couple of minutes too, but how often you do this stacking modes, how shorter is the time it's finished. And here you can see that's the mean mode. And the surface is not that good as the mean mode, but I think I will go the median mode, I'm sorry, but I think I will go with the mean mode because I think it's looking a little bit better than the median mode. And what we have to do now is we need a second, we go to filter, and now we're doing some camera raw filter settings. So go to camera raw filter. It will take a couple of minutes because it has to calculate the photo. Here we are, and I will go with the contrast a little bit more. Bring a little bit the exposure up. I will bring down the highlights. I will bring up the shadows a little bit and bring down the blacks a little bit, bring down the whites, and maybe the temperature a little bit colder, a little bit more green. I think that's pretty good. Let's bring up the vibrance a little bit and bring up the saturation a little, only just slightly. Okay, I'm good with it. I will hit OK. And what we have to do now is pretty simple. We need to create an exact copy of this layer. So we hit Command J and we have a copy of our image. Now we can work with the copy, and we need to go to Camera Raw filter again, because now the magic is happening. And we bring down the texture and we bring down the clarity, and you can see we got a better smoothing and more natural looking long time exposure. The water surface has no details anymore. It has no clarity, no texture, and that's what a long time exposure is looking. So we hit OK again, and now you can see that our photo has completely nothing with clarity and no more texture anymore. You can see this here on the rocks and in the forest, in the background, here on the side. And we need to bring back the sharpness in this area. So what we are doing now is we create, for this layer, we create a mask. We hit the mask symbol and we did the adjustments at the layer underneath. And here are the clarity. Here we have no clarity, and in the layer underneath we have clarity and texture. So we want to bring back the texture and clarity to the upper layer back, and we want to do this on this part of the image. So now we need a brush, hit the mask. You need the background color black. So hit X, or if black is selected, then you don't need to do anything. But if you have white at the foreground, you need to press X and it will change automatically to the black color. So, and what you're gonna do is you paint over your image, and you can see that we bring back the sharpness. Draw over the rocks, draw here. Don't hit the water surface in this area. Just this one, we want to have it very, very smooth. And you can see here in your mask what's selected and what is not selected anymore. So, okay, that's looking pretty good. And we're gonna do a little brush, go over the stones here, that you can get some clarity back on it. And here, and here, and come here over to the stones, do this, and here, and a little bit here, so there, and I think we are pretty good. Okay, I think I will leave this. That's pretty good looking, and that's the final photo. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you learned something and you find it very helpful, then you are allowed to give a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from me, then hit that subscribe button. I would highly appreciate it, and it will help to grow my channel, and it will help out my channel. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, I will see you in the next video.